Millennials are going to work until they die, and Gen Z is going to have to work even longer, according to a new article released by Yahoo Finance, saying that millennials and Gen Z are going to have to save $3 million in order to retire comfortably by age 65. If that doesn't blow your mind, let's look at some more facts, because this gets way darker really fast if we look at the details behind what they're saying here. First thing to point out is if you start working at age 20 and you never take a year off, or any time off for that matter, and you work until 65, that's 45 years of working 9 to 5, 5 days a week, maybe more than that. So if you look at that 45-year span of working and you divide the $3 million you need to retire by those 45 years, you wind up with $66,000 a year you need to save in order to hit that $3 million mark. Thankfully, we don't have to save. We can invest in the market, which is going to help us hit this target. So if we expect an average of 7% return every year compounded for those 45 years, you only need to invest about $800 per month in order to hit that $3 million target. But the average American right now has less than $1,000 in saving. Not saving $1,000 every month. They're maintaining less than $1,000 total in saving. The total amount in savings month to month.
Everyone's got their own different thing, but it's really important to be thinking about the aim is not to work forever.
Yeah.
The aim is to retire as soon as possible. Don't make these lot tell you must wait till 60 or 65 or whatever. You can pick. There are people that are 25, they're retired.
Yeah.
Do
Definitely.
you understand? Because of the skill set that they have and so forth. Like, so it's really, and then there are footballers that have earned millions, and then because they haven't invested well, they're still looking for work.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Retirement is the biggest scam that we have been sold and told as Americans. The simple and sad truth is most people in this country are never going to retire. Okay? That's why you have so many elderly people, 65, 55, 60, 65, even 70 years old, still driving Uber, still working at libraries, working fast food, right? You see them working at like casinos on the weekends and everything, right? The fact of the matter is, most people are never going to retire in today's day and age in America. And if you do get the luxury to retire, you need upwards of $3 to $5 million, and that's just to retire, right? No longer do we live in a society where you could retire with $1 million. In today's society, a million is nothing. I could blow $1 million in one day, right? $1 million could be gone in one day in today's society. That's how crazy things are. 3 to 5 million just to retire, right? 10 million if you want to retire comfortably. If you want to never have to work again, if you want to be able to just do whatever you want on the weekends, be able to just take a trip. Oh, you know what? A random Tuesday, I'm going to just go take a first class Delta trip over to South America, right? You need $10 million. No longer do we live in the days where a million is going to cut it to where you don't ever have to work again. Like I said, $1 million gone in one day. It's that simple. We live in that type of society now, right? Most people are never going to see retirement, and that's the biggest lie that we've been told. The system, the government, they all tell us work, 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 save your way to retirement, right? Invest in a 401k, put money towards your social security, right? They're taking that away now. They're starting to take away people's social security, their 401ks, their pensions, right? And you know it's bad, right? You know it's bad when a guaranteed job, like people in the military, it still at least right now it still is. If you do 20 years in the military, you get a pension. But there have been talks in the administration about when people retire after their 20 years, they're just going to give people a lump sum and send them on their way. No more retirement, no more pension check once every, for once every month for the rest of your life. No more of that. It's not guaranteed, but they're having talks about it. I'm telling you, things are getting worse and worse as things go by in this country, right? They used to tell us work hard, graduate college, get a job, start your career, climb up the corporate ladder, save your way to retirement, invest in a 401k. You'll get your social security when you turn 65, 70 years old. Okay, but Ask yourself, how much sense does that make, right? You graduate college at 21, 22 years old, right? You go into the workforce. At least this is how it used to be, right? You go into the workforce at 22 years old. You work, work, work. 22 years old, you start your job, work for 40 plus years, then you retire. You live another, what, 10 years, because the life expectancy is what, 73, 75, something like that? Sometimes 80, depending on how you take care of yourself. And then you die. So basically, you're slaving away your entire life, your entire youth, right? When that should be the time where you are taking risks, where you are innovating, where you are trying to build something with your life, right? They're taking away those youthful years of your life and making you slave away at a company, at a job that you don't care about, that you're only working at because you got to pay bills, because you have to survive, because you need a way to eat, to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, right? Explain to me how much of a scam that is and how much sense that makes. Tell me that's not a scam. We live in such a country. We live in such a society, right? People are not going to be able to retire. Now, in today's society, people need 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet, right? People can't pay their mortgages. People can't pay rent without working 3 jobs, right? And like I said, going back to the military situation, I've met people who are in the military that have to work on the weekends, right? They have to work because they can't make ends meet. And the military is a guaranteed paycheck. Like they make sure that people have a way to survive. At least I mean, at least I would think they do, right? It's it's so messed up, right? It's so messed up in today's, it's so messed up now. People can barely survive, right? Most people are never going to be able to retire, let alone you get to that elderly age, right? Let's say you get to that elderly age. You got $1 million in the bank, cash, just straight $1 million to last you the rest of your life. You're 65 years old. Heaven forbid, God forbid, something happens to you, right? You fall down the stairs. Help! I can't get up. That's that's 200 to $300,000 gone right there. Why? You think about it. Most people don't have health insurance. Most Americans don't have health insurance, right? Health insurance is so expensive. They're thinking about taking away Social Security. That's $300,000 gone right there off of that operation. Not to mention maybe any pre-existing conditions, cancer, diabetes, some other treatment, something like that, right? All these things add up, and $1 million is gone immediately, right? Especially if you don't have insurance. Your best bet, if you're an American and you have $1 million, your best bet is to go to another country. Your best bet is to leave all this behind, go to another country where you can stretch the American dollar, right? Some maybe Southeast Asia, South America, Eastern Europe, something like that, right? Where you can stretch the money. Because in this country, I'm sorry to tell you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but $1 million is not going to get it done anymore. It's not. We used to live in a day and age where $1 million could get it done, right? You could live off of one paycheck. You could live off of a pension. They weren't going to take all that away. We don't live in those times anymore. We don't live in those times anymore. Most people can't even get a job. College graduates can't even get a job. AI is replacing everybody. And you want to sit here and tell me that people are going to have a chance to retire? No, retirement's done. Most people are going to work, work, work until they quite literally die at the office. That's just the society we live in now. Retirement is a luxury that most people will never see in their lives because it's too unaffordable. People have to keep working, and they want us to keep working. They want us to use our best years. This is the time, if you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s, right? This is the time to be able to take risks, go travel, go see the world. Why would you want to work? Why would you want to get in your early 20s, right? Work for a company for 40 plus years, wait until you're 65, 70 years old, and then go travel when your bones are all brittle. You have no type of energy left. And when you get to the destination that you want to get to, all you're going to do is go to the hotel and go to sleep. What kind of life is that? What kind of life? What kind of life is that? It's a scam, man. It is all a scam out here. And I know I'm not the only one who sees this. Unfortunately, I'm not the majority though. But if you're watching this video, I know that you see this too. Things are not how they should be for us. We are living in some perilous times. We are living in some messed up times, right? And then you got people still thinking that this country is gonna it's gonna change itself, and the administration is gonna come save them. The man just said he doesn't care about any. He doesn't. Americans' complaints and decisions don't sway him not a single bit. It's all about not letting Iran get a nuclear weapon. But that's a topic for another video. Americans are never going to retire. This is the time where you need to actually be trying to get to the point where you have the option to retire, so you're not like everybody else. So you're not 65 years old and being like, man, I still got to work, I still got to go into the office today, I should be done right now. People are in some people are in their twilight years, right? Some people are in their twilight years having to get up tomorrow and go to work, go work a full 8 9 hour shift and do the same thing again for the next however long they have to do it until they die. That's the system we live in. That is the that is the society we live in. Your best bet is to go somewhere. Take risks now. Go travel now. Go see the world now. Go do things that you're not going to be able to do right now before it's too late. Right? Most people think it's all about working. No, there is more to life than just working. There is more to life than the things that society tells you. It's not about what society wants. It's about what you want, because you only get one chance in this life. Right? You only get one chance in this life. So make it the way you want it to be. Stop letting these corporations take over. Stop letting all these people at work tell you how you should do things, how you need to live your life. If you don't do this, you're going to fail. If you start that business, it's going to fail. Right? Screw all that. It could work out for you. It could quite literally work out for you. Right? This is the time to actually try things. Not when you're 50, 60, 70 years old, right? I mean, 55 is not too late, right? But you're getting close to that age where it's like, okay, well, it's getting a little tough, right? You're getting to crunch time, right? It's crunch time now, right? 60, 65, you're crunch time now. Right now is the time. Stop listening to all these outside noises, outside factors, and do what it is that you want to do with life, right? Don't be one of those people that's never going to retire, that has to drive Uber on the weekends. And maybe some people just want to drive Uber on the weekends, that's always a possibility. But I know when I'm 65, 70, 75 years old, if I'm able to live that long, I pray to God that I for sure don't want to be working in any way, shape, or form. I want to, I know exactly where I want to be, and it's not at an office, that's for sure. Think about it. Think about how you want to live your life. Stop letting society dictate and tell you how to live. This is your life. Awaken yourself. If you want more videos, more truth knowledge like this, follow me for more. I'll see you guys in the next video.